Hello, Salemites. Welcome to your daily dose of days, weekly recap and update. Okay, so this is for Monday, January 30th to Friday, February 3rd, today. It has been an eventful week, but then again, just so many storylines wrapping up. Okay, so let's get to it. So we open up Monday, and Jack is home. He's been away with Jennifer. So Jack's home, and he's home for a reason. He has talked to Rafe, who has informed him that Gwenn is refusing to testify against Xander. So that's what Jack comes home for. And he confronts Gwenn, and he tells her, Rafe tells me you won't testify against Xander. And he already knows, that Xander, what all he did. They just need people to testify against him to put him in jail. And I have to say, I hope that they do. I'm sick to death of him. And after what he did today, Friday, to Sarah, we'll get to that. I wanted to punch his nose. Anyway, so he has a talk with Gwenn. And he said, Gwenn, I want you to just go on and do the respectable thing and testify against Xander. And she refuses, so he gives her an ultimatum. And he said, okay then. So you are going to have to pick me or Xander. If you don't testify against him, you are going to lose your home, because Jack's letting her live there. You're going to lose your job, because she's got a hotshot job, and she's acting like she's a normal person. And you're going to lose me, because you did so much to Jennifer and Abigail, and we all forgave you for all of this, but a woman has died, and Xander was part of it. And, he needs to pay for this, and Bonnie is just, she's got PTSD now. Excuse me, because of Mr. Clown. So, Gwenn grabs her suitcase and leaves. That's right. She gave up her relationship with her father, her damn good job she had, and her home. All for this loser Xander. Now, some of you, I've never been a fan of Xander. Period. Amen. I'm just not a fan of him. I think he's like just a big idiot. And I'm not going to say anything, but okay. I've seen a few interviews of him, not in character, and I was not impressed. But, I'm not going to hate on him, although I just did. He's alright. There's been times I've liked him, but he keeps making the wrong decisions. I do feel like the whole thing that he did working for Ava, that I feel like he was goaded into that, pushed into that by Victor. Which, by the way, nobody's acknowledged he's dead yet. Last time I heard, they filmed 3 months in advance. But at this recent Days of Days thing they did, and I watched a couple of those YouTube clips of that. I think it was Gabi that was saying, Camilla Banis, that was saying they filmed 6 months in advance, which is just unbelievable. How do they keep it in their mind? What's going on now? To keep from saying anything, should someone approach them or whatever. That's how we get spoilers. Okay, so she packs her suitcase and she's pulling it along, over in the square. So she is headed toward Xander, I believe. That's where she's going to end up. So she does. I'm just going to finish that story. I hate how they jump around to different storylines. And if I write notes like that, it gets me all screwed up. So she did make her way to Xander. And she told him, everything. And I don't know if she made it to Xander today. Did I write it down? Let me see. Xander over him. Oh, no. I don't think she does. Meanwhile, um, Leo makes his way over to visit Xander, and he wants to give him a head up. He says that he's going to be testifying against him. And Xander's like, for real, mate? You're going to testify against me? And he said, yeah, I just wanted to let you know, give you a heads up. Sorry. He's hilarious. He's one of my favorite characters. The odd characters are my favorite characters. Him, Susan Banks. But, he's just like stupid too. He's just not that smart. I can't even explain the character. Sometimes you think he's smart, but, he's just all silly. And all he thinks about is having sex with somebody is what it seems like to me. I don't know. So, Xander grabs him and chokes him. And just about chokes him out, So they had their little words there about that. I'm going to have... Okay, so after Leo leaves, Sarah comes over and delivers Xander the divorce papers. She wants him to sign the divorce papers, and they have their words and everything. And he's like, "So you came back over here. You were going to forgive me, but because Gwenn was here, you decided to go on and divorce me?" And Sarah said, "Yeah." So he's like, "But Sarah, nothing happened." And she said, whether it did or not, you always run to her. You have always got secrets. And, Sarah's sick of it. Well, who can blame her? Come on, man. He's a big dope. Anyway, that's, I think, all of it for Xander for the day. Yeah. Okay, so anyway... Meanwhile, in case you don't remember, Friday we left Stephan tied up in the cellar where Gabi had him hostage because she's waiting for Rolf to get there to, fry him backwards. Fry him backwards. She wants him to reverse what he did and make him love her. So, he's tied up down there, and he notices that he does have his cell phone in his pocket. He's able to get it out, and then he drops it on the floor, and he's tied up, and he can't, really do much there. But the phone rings, and he's able to take his toe, because he took his shoe off. How did he get his sock off? I don't even know. So he took his toe and answered the phone, and it was his mother calling from prison, Vivian. So... he answered it, he's talking to her, and he's like, please, call and get me help. And she's like, well, you turned your back on me and all this and blah, blah, blah. So, he promises to make amends and all this crap if she'll just help him. But when they hung up, it didn't seem like she was going to help him. And as the week goes on, you don't think it's going to help him. Okay, so Sarah and Maggie and Justin are having a conversation, and Maggie's really wanting, her to skip this whole getting a divorce thing, and she's not going to do it. And Justin just spoke up and said, Maggie, you can't blame her. Sarah's whole thing is, well, we'll get to that because she told him that today. So she takes the divorce papers over to him and gets him to sign them. Does he sign them today? That may not air till Tuesday. Okay, so... also, Friday, as you left it, Gabi had went over to see Lee, and she's acting like she wants to get back with him and everything, because she knows that he knows where Rolf is, and he's, of course, a liar, and he's not going to tell her. So she acts, like everything's okay with them, and she wants to... see how things work out as husband and wife with him. She's hilarious. Gabi is one of my favorite people on there. I swear she is. She said something to Lee. She said, we're alike. We both won't stop at anything to get what we want. And that's one of the things that I admire and don't admire about Gabi. On top of the fact that Gabi always looks incredible. Her clothes are, whoever picks out her clothes, they're perfect for her. The colors are perfect, and she always has the prettiest fingernails. So she always looks good. Unlike some of the other characters that I don't know who dresses them. So, oh my gosh, is all that Monday? So, let's see. His mother calls him. Oh, okay. So, Gabi tells Lee to take a shower so they can consummate their marriage. And while he's in the shower, of course, she looks through all the drawers. She finds the burner phone. She calls Rolf. She tells him, "Get your butt down here. I want you to reverse Stephan's memory. And, the whole DeMera family. You'll be back in their good graces." So, Rolf's on his way. So, she puts the burner phone back. And she's headed out the door when he comes out and he catches her. "Gabi, where you going?" And then he sees the drawer open. He says, "Is this it? Is this what you wanted?" And she said, "Yeah." So she said, "Ralph is on his way as we speak to reverse Stephan's memory so he will once again love me." And she walks out the door and he's like, he gets on the phone and he puts his people into action and says, "Make sure that Ralph doesn't come anywhere near Salem. Do whatever you have to do to stop him." Lee is ruthless. I mean, who would have thought it? But I already got that when he unplugged Stephan's lifeline there and was going to let him die just so he could have Gabi. Alright, let me see. Okay, so while Stephan is talking to his mom on the phone, Gabi comes in and talks to his mom and tells her, "I'm your daughter-in-law, blah, 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 blah." And, "Oh, okay, yeah, we'll be to see you, I promise. We'll be to see you, bye-bye." She's got it all wrapped up. Now, is Stephan's mom going to call for some help or what? Okay, so at the very end of Monday's show, the last thing that happens is after she hangs up the phone with Vivian, there's a knock at the door, and of course, it is Rolf. Alright. Rolf is another one. I can only do so much. He's hilarious. I love Rolf. Okay, so then we go to Tuesday. And that would be January 31st. Okay, so Alex leaves Stephanie messages after messages, and she told him she didn't want anything else to do with him, and she's had nothing else to do with him. He's called her, he's done all kinds of things, but yeah, some hot little stuff happens later in the week. We're going to get to that in a minute because I don't like these videos to be very long. So far, we've racked up 13 minutes. Let's see if we can keep it under a half an hour. I doubt it, but I can talk fast. Okay, okay. Rolf is on the job. Xander begs Sarah not to divorce him. She can't do it. She finally gets him to sign the divorce papers. Jack lets Gwenn loose, and him and Chad bond more. Chad came home, she was really glad to see Jack. He loves Jack. Jack loves Chad. He's his son-in-law, the father of his grandchildren, so, they're pretty close. And, Chad comes in, and I can't remember. Let's see if I wrote it down. Well, I think, but don't hold me to it or make a big bitch deal about it. But I'm pretty sure, that's a step above I think, that he confided in Chad what happened with Gwenn. Oh yeah, he did. I'm sure now. He confided in Chad and told him about what had just conspired with Gwenn and how he had to set her loose. Chad's he's not surprised by anything that Gwenn pulls. Okay, so Jack tries to encourage Chad that he should try to go on with his life and, maybe, consider dating and stuff, and that Abigail would want him to find love again. And he told Chad, he said, you're a good man, Chad. You're a good father. You're a young man. You deserve love again. And I want you to know, if you want to start dating or anything, or, we're behind you. You didn't, it's not any kind of disservice to Abigail. And so Chad told him, well, I was almost going to have a relationship with Stephanie, but I just wasn't ready to move on yet. And, he's like, Abigail loved Stephanie, and Stephanie loved Abigail. And he encouraged Chad to move on with Stephanie. So, let's see if Chad takes that to heart. Okay, okay. So it's on Tuesday that Xander does sign the divorce papers. Alright, so Paulina goes to the Kidiak's mansion looking for Justin. I forget what she wanted him for. The heck is that? Looks like a Christmas light blinking. I don't know what in the world that was. Anybody else see that? I've got my Christmas lights here in the closet next to me. They are not plugged in. That looked like Christmas lights to me. Was it an ambulance or something, possibly? I don't know. Let's hope not. Okay, so what is that? What was I saying? God, I don't remember. Oh, Paulina goes to the Grant's mansion. She's looking for Alex, and he's working out, all buffed up and stuff. And he tells her that, Justin's not there. She was looking for Justin. I think I said Alex. And she said, well, since I'm here, Alex, I've got a thing or two to say to you about Stephan. He's like, oh. So she's like, dry off and put some clothes on so we can have a talk. So she's jumping all over his butt. But then he explains to her what happened, and how so very sorry he is that he caused her to miss that time with her mother. And he truly is. He's not a jerk like that. He absolutely truly is. So she decides she likes Alex after all, and that maybe Stephanie should give him another chance. But I can tell you right now, she's not going to. All right. So Roth, they want to get jiggy. They want to get jiggy with the shocking him back to life business. So they have got Stephan hooked up to everything. He goes down the hall and gets his equipment. And he said, the equipment is old, but it is still useful. So he hooks Stephan all up, and they give it the juice, and smoke starts coming out, and kapoom, the machine stops. And Stephan's just like, and she's like, oh my God, what did you do? What did you do to him? Because, he told her that, possibly death. And she's like, what's going on? And he said, I did the best I could with this shorty equipment. What do you expect from me? So they unhook him, and he's like, Gabi. Well, guess what? He shocked him. He shocked him about halfway through his memory. And Stephan announces that he loves Gabi and Chloe. Now, meanwhile, upstairs, Vivian calls the main house. And Anna answers the phone. And she's like, Vivian, what? Gabi's got Stephan tied up in the basement. And Chloe takes the phone. So they go downstairs. just in time, and that's when Stephan says, I love Gabi and Chloe. How lucky am I? But what Stephan does not know is Chloe was just telling Anna upstairs that she was going to break it off with Stephan because she just didn't like the fact that he was programmed to love her and stuff. It wasn't going to work out. Okay, so Chad goes over to find Stephanie. He finds her, and what's with these people? They don't even shut the door all the way. And he kisses her. He tells her, he does want to try something with her, and she's all for that. She takes his hand, and they go off to the bedroom. But prior to that, they're kissing, and Alex is on his way to give her flowers and a card with an apology. And he starts to go in, and he sees them kissing. He goes back out and gets the flowers by the door. Before he did that, Allie and him have been chumming around because, Chanel moved out because Allie's a witch. And she encouraged him to go on. So he ran into Allie later in the square, and he told her, I was too late. I was just too late. So they're kissing and making out, and then Gwenn makes it over to Xander and tells him everything that she did, and he just had signed the divorce papers, and they hit the sheets. All right, and that's it for Wednesday. Thursday, Alex ends up because him and Allie got drunk after things went south with Stephanie. So him and Allie gets drunk, and he spent the night at Allie's house and couldn't find his underwear the next morning. So he ends up leaving, but Wendy caught him leaving, and Allie tries to explain to him there was nothing going on there, and she's like, she overheard their conversation about he couldn't find his underwear before he left. But Chanel comes over and she finds the underwear. So yeah, it's all bad from there. Stephanie and Chad in the morning after, Steve is home. Tripp's there, but Tripp just left. Chad came out, he said he's sorry or whatever, and, Patch offers him to have breakfast with him or whatever, but he had to go, so he went on. Gwenn tells Xander it was his decision for them to sleep together, not hers, and she's kind of thinking it was a mistake. When Chad came out of the bedroom with Stephanie, it was so funny because they were acting like a couple of teenagers, and he's like, Mr. Johnson, and Steve's like, Mr. DeMera, and they kind of laughed and acted silly. It was so funny. It was really worth watching. Alex sees Chad going into the Brady pub, and he tells him that he was over there. He's seen them kissing, and he said, I got one thing to say to you, man. You're a lucky man. Alex knows he screwed up. It's really kind of sad. I hope Stephanie don't end up pregnant. Gwenn tells Sarah she slept with Xander. They meet in the square. Oh, I'm missing a page of Friday. So, that's way the hell over there. But I don't know if I took any notes or not. So then on today, Friday, they finish up the conversation. Gwenn and Xander scrape their pennies together to go get them a little donut or something. And Sarah runs into Gwenn in the square there, and she's like, well, I'm sure it won't be long before you weasel your way into Xander's bed. And she said, well, I don't have to weasel. He invited me. And she's like, what? You slept with Xander? And Xander pops up and says, yes, she did. And it was my idea. Now, this is what my beef with Xander. So he's standing there with Gwenn, and Sarah's saying some nasty things to Gwenn, of course, and he's like, "This isn't Gwenn's fault, Sarah. You judged me. You think I'm some kind of worthless thug, don't you? You just think I'm dirt under your feet or something like that. I don't know." He's just going on, and he says, like, "Well, she doesn't, and I don't want you talking to her like that." So he's stepping in and defending Gwenn. This hurt Sarah's feelings so bad, and he said, "It's really none of your business who I sleep with now, is it, Sarah? Because we're divorced." And she said, "Well, once Justin files those papers, we are divorced." So she said, "Well, congratulations. If you're wanting to hurt me, you did." You know, Xander is a pig, oink oink. So they end up going on. Oh, crap. And Sarah was very, very hurt. Today we seen Marlena and Susan and Kate and Kayla in heaven, so they thought they were in heaven. They all had to sign agreements, which I knew that was not a good thing, to get to this one spot. When they find out that, of course, when the show goes off, they meander around in heaven. They're on different levels, and different people from their past deals with each one of them, and they tell them they have to sign this paper to go to the next level or whatever. And, you know, all that about signing your soul over to the devil. I have a feeling that's what they just did, but they didn't know what they were doing. And the very last thing, when it went off, you see all the girls, and Susan's like, "Sorry to disappoint you, Miss Marlena, Dr. Evans." But she starts pulling off her stuff, and they're all like, "Oh, you know." Meanwhile, when the other gals are talking to Kate and Kayla, you see the devil eyes. So, yeah, we're all about the devil again. You know, the last time they did the devil, I thought they'd just done that devil to death. I'm sick of it. Not really happy about this storyline. I don't know where they're going to go with it, but, you know, I do love the show, but I kind of tuned out a lot of the devil stuff. It's just, I'm sick of it. And that is your update for the 30th to February the 3rd today. Subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you all in Salem.